Hey, hi, it's Stephanie with This Reader's Life, Books and Other Blessings, and I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you stopped by or found me or returned. If you're returning, welcome back. If this is the first time you've ever seen it, this is a channel about books, about books that I've read, books that I enjoy, books that I want to read, and also some other sometimes life events and things like that, but mostly this is about books. So if you enjoy what you see today, I hope that you will subscribe or like or follow, whatever you're comfortable with. And today is Tag Tuesday, which is the tag that I'm doing today. I was tagged by Sue Jackson DE, and the tag is called Coffee and Books, and it's a fun one. I really enjoy it, but I always love tags. Tags are my very favorite thing to do on BookTube, and I always feel so honored when I'm tagged. It's exciting. So anyway, coffee and books. I'm gonna get started. I'm gonna put my glasses on because I cannot see without them. And so let's go. Number one is Black Coffee. Name a series that's tough to get into but has hardcore fans. The very first thing that I thought of, which was also, it was Sue Jackson's choice, and I'm guessing it might be a lot of people's, is Diana Gabaldon's series, The Outlander. It's been made into a TV series. It's extremely popular, and her books are extremely long, and it takes her a long time to write each book. So sometimes there's a wait in between, and for me, that was the hardest part. The first book was wonderful. I liked it, and I was looking forward to the next one, but there was a wait, and and also they were expensive. They're big books. I listened to most of them on Audible, and sometimes on Audible you get, when you belong to Audible, you get a certain number of credits, and I think sometimes her books cost 2 credits. I might not be right about that, but I do remember that they were big long books, and that there was a long way in between them. So that's one that I think of. But for something different, and because it's a series I'm reading now, it's The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, and I absolutely love this series. But it is right now her journals, The Unselected Journals of Emma M. Lyon, and those journals are written in volumes, and so I've read volume 1, 2, and 3, and right now there are 8. There's more to come. They're by Beth Brower. I think she's happened on a brilliant way to present Emma M. Lyon, and I'm enjoying it so much. But after the first book, I was not sold, or after the first journal. I listened to it on Audible, and I don't know what I had expected, but I just didn't feel like very much happened. But I had heard, word of mouth, I had heard so many things about this that it was so enjoyable that I went on to the next one. It helps in some ways that each journal is not very long. It's easy to listen to or easy to read. And after the second journal, I was thoroughly hooked. I love Emma M. Lyon. So that would be one that I didn't know if I was going to get into it, but boy, people that love it, they are hardcore. They truly love Emma M. Lyon. The next question is called Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular during the winter or a festive time of year. And the book that I thought of immediately was The Long Winter by Laura Ingalls Wilder, and I suppose it's considered a children's book. I definitely read it when I was a child, and I can remember that there was definitely snow on the ground when I did read it. But every year when winter comes around, and I always think about that book, and what a hard winter they really had. It's actually written about in history books that was a horrible winter. They lived in South Dakota. There were blizzards. The train could not get through. They were completely snowed in. They were constantly in danger of being caught by a blizzard and not being able to find their way, even as far as the barn. That's how obscured everything was during a blizzard. So there was the danger of getting lost out on the prairie. There was not enough food. There was not enough oil or wood or a way to heat their homes. Their cooking was difficult. Everything, they were truly frightened that they were not going to survive. And so that was a wonderful book. And as a child, I can remember telling my mom, this book is making me cold. And it was just very well written. The other, for wintertime. Um, and then the other book that I thought of was Dr. Zhivago. And, I'm not even sure that I ever finished the book. It was written by Boris Pasternak, but I did see the movie. But what I remember is that there was so much snow. It's a Russian story. And there was so much snow all the time, all the firs and all of the snow everywhere. And so that's another book that I think of. I don't know if it gets more popular. The one that probably gets the most popular this during the winter would be A Christmas Carol, of course, by Dickens. So there's that. Number 3, hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? And I read a lot as a kid, a lot. And I loved books that were about that were historical. I liked historical stories. I liked times before, like covered wagon stories or Revolutionary War stories. And one of the books that I read that really has stayed with me through the years was Caddy Woodlawn by Carol Ryrie Brink, and it is the first book that ever made me cry. And I still remember so many details from that book. So that's probably my favorite children's book. I also loved A Little Princess, which is by Frances Hodgson Burnett. And I think I was probably a little bit young when I first read that book to really understand it completely. But I have read it many times through the years, and that's probably one of my favorite children's books as well. Number 4 is Double Shot of Espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat. And the book that I think of when I think about that is Nelson DeMille was an author in the 80s and 90s at least, and that's when I was reading so many of his books. But he wrote one that was called The Charm School, and it was about an American soldier who is captured by Russia, I believe, and he is put into sort of a camp that has been where they are training Russians to become as American as possible so that they can infiltrate America. And so they've built this city that everything about it is American. You can't tell while you're there that you are in Russia because everyone there has an American accent, everyone there, and they're working very hard to make this work. And so they want to use him to help them. He is placed into this camp or into this sort of make-believe type of city that seems very American, and so that he can help them kind of fine-tune some of the things that they haven't caught onto, and that's the expectation for him. Of course, his expectation is to get out. I was so excited, and I wanted for him. The suspense was it was just palpable. I was so excited to know if he was going to make it out or not, and I think I actually gasped or shivered or things like that during this book because I was truly on the edge of my seat. I could not wait to find out what happened. I was reading as fast as I could. Number 5 is, the question is Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. And right now I'm going to say Project Hail Mary because the movie just came out. It's on my to be read. I see it everywhere. I'm doing a no-buy year for books, and so I haven't bought it. It's on my to be read. I can't wait to read it, and it's also on hold at my library. The wait is 22 weeks right now, so it's going to be a while. But I think any time that a movie is made out of a book, the publicity, becomes, they advertise it so much more that that's probably why. And plus, I'm aware of it because I really want it, and I don't have it right now. But and it's science fiction, so it's not my genre at all. But I'm really looking forward to read it. So I'm still looking for a buddy reader for that, but I think the whole world now has read it, so I'll just be the last one. Number 6, that hipster coffee shop, doesn't that make you think of Friends? Um, Give a book by an indie author a shout out. Sort of a young adult book, although it definitely could be read by adults. I enjoyed it as an adult, and it is by Daryl V. Poor, at Poor, Poer, and it is Lost Weekend in May, and it takes place in Indiana. It's a mystery. It's quite an action story, and it takes place on the weekend of the Indy 500. So he published that independently, and I really, really enjoyed that one too. Number 7. Oops, I accidentally got decaf. Name a book you were expecting more from. Ray Bradbury's Fahrenheit 451. That's the first thing that comes to me. I didn't read it. I don't know if it was ever assigned to be read. If it was, I didn't. But I did read it as an adult just recently, and I was a little disappointed. I had expected it to be, I don't know, I thought the premise sounded so interesting, but I didn't think the writing was brilliant. I'm obviously in the majority here. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. In the minority here. Obviously in the minority. I didn't think it was a great book. I liked it, but I didn't think it was brilliant. So there was that one. The Perfect Blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet, but ultimately satisfying. And I am going to go with Pat Conroy's The Prince of Tides. That book, it was so bittersweet. It was so, and yet it had a satisfying end. It ended just the way I had hoped it would end. And I remember the last 2 words of that book so well. And it was well written. It's a family saga. It's about a high school coach going to New York City from the Carolinas to help his sister who has, I believe, tried to commit suicide and is going through a hard time, and the whole family has had hard times. But ultimately, this is the relationship between he and his sister turns into something that is really beautiful. So that's the book that I chose for that. It is both bitter and sweet, and just to me, it's the epitome of the word bittersweet. So there's that. The next question's the last one. An Irish pub song by the Rumjacks, which I don't know who the Rumjacks are. And but the question is a book that is misunderstood. And the first thing that I thought of was J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings series. I have not read it, but I know that it has that J.R.R. Tolkien was a Christian and that it has Christian overtones, and I certainly was not aware of that. The other one is the same situation. It is C.S. Lewis, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. And I remember seeing that book as a kid around. I never read it, but I had no idea that it had anything to do with Christianity. And then as an adult, I did read it and I enjoyed it. And I knew then who C.S. Lewis is. And so I knew what was going on and how the story was could certainly be related and be symbolic. But had I not known that in advance, I don't know if I would have picked up on it anyway. Although the message is very clear and it's very sweet. So those are the 9 questions in Coffee and Books. If I went through it again, I could probably come up with different answers for most of these, but I really enjoyed thinking it through. And the very, very last number on the questions is tag people, which I will do below. But also, if you have not been tagged, or you would think that this sounds like an interesting one to do, consider yourself tagged by me and enjoy it, have fun with it. And until the next time, remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, be kind to the planet, be blessed, and have a great day. Thanks. Bye-bye.